Hey guys, the fourth double round week of Euroleague is upon us. Let's see the agenda for today. We have the ups and downs of round 9, our team results, the coach of round 10, and our team formation. Let's start with the credit bank.
And here we can see the performance from the last round. On the left-hand side, we have the overperformance that increased their values most. The highlight is Brian, amazing performances this year, and he's 14.6, quite expensive, but it seems to be in an amazing form, so it's still a great pick, even though it increased by 1 credit. So if you already had him, great, you can keep him, and at a later point you can utilize the credits. If not, still seems like a great idea to have him in your team. On the other hand, we have a couple of players below the 10 credits that had great games. I would start with the number 6, that is Ellis. Just 2 games in Euroleague, but both very good results, especially in terms of fantasy. You can see he managed to get 20 fantasy points. Is a solid pick for less than 10 credits. And on the other hand, I would say Spaniolo is doing quite well lately with 8.4 and potentially a good pick as well, at least until the absences from Baskonia return to the roster, like Howard and etc. So until then, it seems to be also a nice pick below the 9 credits. Below the 9 credits, we had explosive game, best Euroleague performance. It was his best points performance from Dozier. He managed to get 34 fantasy points. Monster game, he managed to really get FS on the overtime versus Milano. I mean, FS lost the game, but Dozier was essential. Now we want to see first if he can continue this kind of performance before we get him on the team, but in any case, he's quite cheap. And then finally, we're gonna finish with the more expensive players here. We have Robinson doing a quite good job in Paris, and it seems he's getting the scoring responsibilities when Hifi is on the bench, and he can deliver quite well. So Robinson is a solid pick with his performances recently. And then of course Mike James, another classic game from him. There is not much to say. He's expensive, but you know, when you have a game like that, you can't really fault him. So perhaps there are other choices on other positions with less credits that can give us similar points, but when someone gives you 40, really there's nothing to comment. So it's down to you if you want, you know, to spend that much and have him in your team. Then Waller Bab, he's been quite consistent, we would say, this year, so still great quality value, less than 12 credit points. On the other hand, there is nothing really that stands out from the list of the players that lost value, players that we will target for a bounce back. Maybe the only one that we would is Kendrick Nunn, because he had a very good game in the domestic league with 27 points. So perhaps worth keeping an eye if he gets explosive. But recently he's not performing great in Euroleague. And also remember, with 15, it's something we tried ourselves, 15.2 credits, exactly the credits you would get Milutinov. So, you know, there are always trade-offs in fantasy, which player you could get even on a different position with the same credits. But of course, we know he's the MVP of the league, so from last year, so it's worth keeping an eye. Then moving on to the next position, so we're going into forwards, and there we had a very good game by Nyang, less than 10 credits, so we can see Nyang and Lucic in the end of the page here, the bottom of the page. Very good choices for less than 10 credits. We have Seals having an amazing game. Vintage Seals, he really was on fire, especially in the second half. Great moves, 3-pointers. He really did everything for Milano to get away with a win. We hope he's gonna keep it. If he keeps that performances, then with 14.3 is it's a great pick. We always have the question mark with Seals with his health or injuries. So, but for now seems like a solid pick. On the other hand, talking about Milano, just be careful with Lite because he had a minor injury. So we are not sure how much playing time we will have. So it's already expensive, so worth maybe choosing something else until we know what's his status. And an alternative would be Lite with 13.6. He's been amazing lately, and he's also having a tough game coming up with Valencia. But then in the second part of this double round week, he's playing at home. So it seems like a good choice to stick on. Then if we move to the players that underperformed, again, there is a pattern here. We see Mirotic again on this list. Again, we mentioned it last week that was potentially the lowest value he had since he returned from the NBA to Euroleague, and this dropped another 0.6. So we're not really sure where is the best point to pick him up. I think it's worth always looking at how he's performing at the National League, the French League as well, before we get him in Euroleague. But yeah, it's almost shocking that it's been pretty much the whole year and we've seen only a couple good games from him. Nothing more really to mention here. We don't see any big wins from choosing any player from that list. So let's move to center position. And then we have Thais returning to good performances. And then Jones returning also to very good performances. But on the other hand, Milutinov continue to contribute 23.10 points. He's a very similar valuation with Thais and Jones, and we could perhaps prefer him due to his consistency this year. Right, another great game for the center of Zalgiris. Many of us had to protect ourselves from potential absence in the game because before the round starts, there was a rumor that he may not suit up due to an injury in the domestic league. But not only he did play, but as you can see, he was sensational. So 12.7 is another great pick in this list. And finally, we're going to finish with choices below the 9 credits. So we have another player that could do that. We know we have Moteyunas performing quite well in these deep value selections. Now we have Diouf having a good game, and he's also playing quite decently if you watch any Virtus game. So 6.7 only credits is a great chance to fill up your team with your last center. On the other hand, we don't see anything amazing on the list for the players that lost quite a lot their credits. Len is just a new signing from Real, so we need to see first him getting some playing time. And then we would pretty much keep an eye on Booker to see if he can pick up his performances. But all in all, we wouldn't get anyone else from this list. So having said that, let's move on and see how we did in this round.
Yes, and as you see, round 9, it was not the best round for us. After strong round 7 and 8, we just managed to get 123.35 fantasy points. We didn't gain just 0.1 credits is the minimum you can gain. So as you see, Petrusev did not perform. He just gave us 13 fantasy points. He didn't perform his usual in-form stats. Also, Coach Tabellini -5. That was another hit that we got from the coach. It was a close defeat versus Bayern in Paris. Then also Turu, you see 4.4 credits, fantasy points, sorry. So it's 8.8, not the usual Oturu game that give us double-digit fantasy points. But we managed to get 19.8 from Miller McIntyre, very explosive guard from Crvena Zvezda, and also from Vazenkov. Hifi managed to give us 40 as a captain, so 20 fantasy points. And Moti Jonas, it was pretty solid with 14.3, if you take it into consideration his evaluation. Then Lovavu, just 12 fantasy points. You see 6.05 because he's on the bench. And then Osmani, only 8. It was a big game that went to the overtime versus Emporio Armani, but didn't manage to give us more fantasy points. Then the rest, Herrera and Mahmoudoglu are the fillers. We just got 3 points. So as you see, we have a lot of things to consider, and changes are coming. But before that, let's see the coach of the week, of the round.
So coach of the round, not the week, you're absolutely right, because it's double round week. So for the first round, for round 10, we're going with Itoudis. He's playing versus Baskonia at home. They did lose, though, the cup in Israel. So it is a chance for the team to bounce back. And we think they do have what it takes to win at home, potentially even a comfortable win. So, the 10, we hope that the 10 is the minimum he could get, and we are only looking north of that. Price wise, we said it's just 8.6 credits, so not too expensive. There are a couple of more options in this first part of the double round week. Of course, we'll have an update for codes of the second part of the double round, so for the round 11, potentially with an episode between the rounds. Until then, let's go and see how we did in our team, and we have a surprise because we didn't choose the codes of this round.
Yes, and as you see, we decided to go with coach Messina. Emporio Armani is playing versus Asvel in Milan. So also with the performance the team had in Istanbul, we believe they will show the character and get the W versus Asvel. Then we decided to keep, as you see, Motia Yunus, Osmani, Hifi, Herrera are the Mahmoudoglu are the players that remain, and Lovavu, the players that remain. So we thought about bringing Nikola Milutinov to the team because of his performances. As Bill mentioned earlier, he is very solid this year. So he gives more than 15 fantasy points. So for that reason, we wanted to bring a dominant center to our team. Next to that, we added Lyles instead of Petrushev. Lyles had a monster game versus Barcelona, but we believe that he is the main, let's say, scorer from the 4 position because Hezonja is not performing so far to his usual standards. And Lyles is having his form, his rhythm, he's in form. So that's why we brought him with the thought that we keep him also for the whole double round week. And lastly, we brought in Obst instead of Miller McIntyre. It was tough decision because Miller McIntyre is a great guard and in form at the moment. So that's why we brought in also Messina. We wanted to spend our credits to bring, as you see, Milutinov and Lyles and Obst. Obst is a machine. He's an automatic player. scoring from the perimeter, one of the main guards for Bayern. And with the home court game versus Barcelona, we believe he will be one of the main scorers for Bayern. As you see, Hifi is our choice for captain for turn 1, and for turn 2, we're between Milutinov and Vezenkov, but we will go with Vezenkov as captain. Bill, do you want to add anything?
No, I mean, the only thing you mentioned about the credits, yeah, we had to play around with the credits, try different other scenarios. We tried also to bring none in the team because we think it might be the time to respond with a great game. But yeah, we decided to stay with Milutinov's dominance right now. It is a tough game versus Algiris. He's facing his previous teammate, right? So, but we still think he has what it takes. And then in terms of coaches, again, we chose Messina because the credits are way less than, if I remember, is 6.5 versus the 8.6 of Itudi, so it's a big discount and allow us to fix the team as we think. But in any case, let's see how that goes. We try to bounce back again, see how your team, guys, is, and if you want further choices from us, you can also find us on Real Hoopers Hub. Enjoy this first part of the double round and see you soon.
Yeah, guys, enjoy the games and see you soon.